Hello.
Hello. And Merry Christmas month.
Indeed.
Merry Christmas month.
Y'all
Absolute.
y'all switched spots before
Oh.
we were talking before y'all. Oh my gosh, how'd you do that? That's amazing.
Magic. Christmas magic.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, welcome, Santa, maybe a criminal. How are you,
Thank you.
Jason? Tell everyone,
I'm
introduce
one.
yourself to all of our people that don't know you, which is very
Oh,
few.
well, I'm Jason, the creator of Santa Maybe a Criminal, the head elf of that show. It's a true crime satire podcast. Season 2 just started dropping episodes last. It was Friday on the West Coast. It was Saturday on the East Coast. But I was working very hard on Black Friday to get it done. And it's a show about Santa Claus being arrested in a small Georgia town, and an amateur podcaster's quest to free him and save Christmas. That's basically season 1, and then season 2. At the end of season 1, it takes a little bit of a turn, and season 2 is a little different. And Richie, essentially, Richie is on the hunt for Santa Claus to bring him back to face the Christmas music.
All
Yes,
right. Exciting.
Yeah,
it is. It's
fun.
so cute. It's fun. If you
Oh,
have older children, it's one that they can listen to. A couple cuss words here and there, but I have older boys, 12 and 16, and they love listening to it, especially during
oh,
the holidays. It kind of puts them in that holiday spirit mood. Love it.
thank you.
Can y'all
It's
see that?
Yes.
My
what
my
am I seeing?
my light on in my ceiling fan is like dimming off and on, and I
I
don't know why.
Oh, that's
Oh, now
because
it just went out.
hey, the elves are afoot right now. There's a lot of mischief going on at the North Pole and here by the elves.
I
They
guess
love to play tricks this time of
Absolutely.
year.
our elves have arrived at our house. I don't know if anyone else does that.
Same here, but not for my 12 and 16-year-old. They've been through that. My nieces and nephew now have. And I was trying to think of what they named it today, but I literally just forgot. So,
So we also have so if there's you have Elf on the Shelf, we also have Krampus on Olympus. That was a sponsor of
Nice.
one of our episodes. One of our sponsors.
I
Um,
love your sponsors or your ads throughout. It
Thank
is the cutest thing ever.
it's a lot of fun to write those because there you do have a lot of commonalities across podcasting and the advertising. And
Yes.
so, I mean, the show is, I guess I kind of gave it a little bit of a pitch. The show is a satire show. It's a satire about, true crime, Christmas in the South, and that means any sort of true crime content um, is up for a loving laugh. I'm not vindictive, but a gentle laugh, and so that also means that the sponsors that you hear a lot of the times are satirized in the show. So, for instance, we have Better Elf instead of
Yes.
Better
the
help. Love
other.
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We have Elfscaped instead of Manscaped. We have a lot of different a lot of different ads uh, that we do. Blabble instead of Babble. Some
Best
of them are
fiends?
yeah. So we did. What did we do? We did. I think we did best elves instead of best selves. So like best elves without the or best selves without the s. I think is what we
Oh,
ended up being.
I
Yeah,
love it.
that was
Nice.
written a few different ways, but yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. It allows me to be creative, and I'm a creative guy, and so and the other thing was that this show was born a lot out of the pandemic because I
Hmm.
wanted to. I had this idea a long time ago, and I was on a text thread with some folks y'all might know, Scott and Shiloh from LA Not So
Hmm.
Confidential,
Love
and
them.
yeah, they're amazing, and Rebecca Sebastian from Dialogue and
Hmm.
Criminality, and I'm calling her Mickey Cat because of her job, and yeah, this room's about there. Um, and anyhow, so we were talking about something. I don't remember what it was, but uh, I said, "Oh, this makes me want to do my Santa Claus is a Criminal podcast." And they were like, "You should do it." And I said, "You think so?" And they're like, "Well, we'll be voices for you." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's awesome. Then we can I could like reach out to podcasters and see if they want to be involved in the show." And y'all were on the show last season.
We were.
Yeah, and so I've been able to like reach out to podcasters kind of at the start, and now people are reaching out to me that want to be on the show, which is great. But I'm now like having to write extra things out so because I want everybody to be a part of it, because everybody's been so sweet and nice about it, and so
And you're just a nice guy all around.
Mhm.
So
I try. But yeah, it's been such a blast to produce. It's a lot of fun. I wanted to create like something that was really enticing for your ears, and that you could kind of feel like you were there, and you could kind of travel the ups and downs of like these investigations, and you have kind of all the tropes that are involved. And I also imbue really a lot in this first episode of the second season, that imbue this my love for the 80s and 80s music, that really kind of takes a really kind of forward step in the second season, because the theme is a little different, and I never the first season I never established a proper love interest for Richie Buck is the main character, the host of the show. I never established a love interest for him, and that actually takes a step forward this season as well. So a lot of people really loved. We did 2.5 or 3 or 4 episodes at the North Pole last season, which was a big thing. People wanted to be elves in the show, so people would ask me. I'd say, would you want to be on the show? And they were like, if I can be an elf. And I was like, okay, I'll write more North Pole things, which has spurned a spinoff idea for me. But also, people like that setting so much. I'm going to go back to the North Pole in season 2. Richie's going to go back to the North Pole in season 2, and continue his investigation into whether or not Santa Claus is naughty or nice. And it's been a lot of fun. This season has really kicked off with a strong a bang, like way more than I expected it to. So I'm really stoked about it, and I so appreciate both of your support, and everybody that tunes in. I hope they get a laugh and feel good. For the most part, feel good at the end of the shows. I try to leave things on cliffhangers so people want to listen more. But at the end of the day, it's all about, naughty and nice, and being nice to people, and finding a little hope in the holidays.
I really wish I had your propensity. I'm going to use big words tonight. Not been drinking enough to not use big words. Um, for how creative you are. You can turn literally any sentence into a Christmas pun.
you really can.
Well, it's the good news is we have a lot of. So my background is in advertising, and so we tend to have to kind of spin words in short ways, and Christmas is the most marketed thing in the world, and it continues to grow and grow and grow and grow, and so it gives me a lot of sort of latitude to find things that make sense in that world. And it really is like, I'm wearing, this is a shirt that I have that's you can't really, what the elf, and
Wow.
like I'm able to do, like I do TGI elf on Fridays. So that's you can kind of spin F into a lot of things. You can spin so many things into an elf sounding thing. And yeah, it's so much fun to me to just kind of sit here and play, and people that when they write and say, oh, like I really love what you do. Like it means the world to me, and like I want people to continue to have that feeling of it. So
And it is that when they listen to your podcast, they literally walk away feeling joyful, or that when they listen to our podcast, they feel bummed out that the world is crap.
Mhm.
But you bring it back, honestly. Like it's awesome. I absolutely love it.
well, I really appreciate that, and that was kind of one of the things. Like you all do, from my side, I work in the news industry on the creative side, not as a journalist, and I see what people have to go through to tell true stories, and I know it's extraordinarily difficult, and I have no patience to be that focused on facts and to do those things. So my background is largely in you know creative and not in non
Mhm.
or in fiction writing, and so it was kind of, to me it was like, okay, well, I think there might be a little bit of a space. There was Done Disappeared was a big show a few years ago that was the
Mhm.
send up sort of up and vanished, and um, that kind of tailed off, and I was like, well, there's a little bit of a space here, I think, for people to you know respectfully have a laugh at sort of like the overall um, content, like not at victims or at
Mhm.
cases, but at the way stories are told in the space, because it's a tried and true method on the way these stories are told, and you have I mean, I don't know how many times we have to hear what luminol does again, but those things continue to come up, and I know it's because you're introducing a new audience all the time, and you can kind of see that some of what I do is I kind of reintroduce things in the same sort of fashion. But yeah, it's just it's a lot of fun. It's a blast, um, I'm grateful. Like when I did this, I did not expect. I expected some friends and family to listen to it, and it'd be that. And I thought I was going to write 12 episodes, and it was going to be basically the 12 days of Christmas was kind of
Mhm.
what I was thinking about. And about midway through the season, I was like, well, people seem to like this, so I will maybe I'll extend it to a second season. And so I rewrote the back half of the second season, and I still was at 12 episodes. And then, halfway through that, I was like, oh, I've got an idea for a special 13th episode that I didn't announce. Everybody thought it was going to be over. I acted like it was going to be over at 12. And then I completely went off format for 13, which was titled Unboxing Day. And in 13, I didn't start it the way I normally do. It's completely different, but it starts out with the news that Santa Claus has escaped jail, and he had told. I don't want to give too many spoilers away. It's fun to listen to. People listen to it,
Mhm.
um, but uh, but Richie's whole like purpose in season one was, Santa Claus is innocent. He's the guy that brings gifts to everybody. Christmas meant a lot to Richie as a person. His parents had both passed. They loved having Christmas together. So it's kind of like, if you put Santa away and Christmas goes away, then now I've lost everything that matters to me. And Richie asked Santa, why didn't you run to on Christmas Eve, because he's arrested on Christmas Eve after allegedly running over a grandma with his reindeer. And Richie says, "Why didn't you run? Why didn't you just go? If you have all this Christmas magic, why didn't you just disappear?" And Santa says, "Only the guilty run." And so then on the 13th episode, um, the I'll answer that in a second, Shannon. The He runs, and that breaks Richie's entire, you know, like it breaks his brain. He's like,
Mhm.
he told me he wouldn't run, or only the guilty run, so he must be guilty now. Now I am out for vengeance, and so in the sweet Southern way that us Southerners are, he tries to go and hunt Santa down, and that's a big part of this second season. And I've got a bounty hunter named Hog the bounty hunter that's come on, who is
Oh, that
who's
who
played
is it
by
played by?
played by Nick from True Crime Garage, actually.
love it.
Perfect. That's
Yes,
perfect.
I said he asked me at CrimeCon. He's like, "When are you going to let me be on the show?" And I was like, "Well, I had no idea that you wanted to be on the show." And so I messaged him back and forth a couple times, and he said, "I said, well, what are your ideas?" And he said, "I think it'd be kind of fun if you had an eye patch." So when you listen to the episode,
God.
the eye patch thing was he's a one-eyed bounty hunter. He has an eye patch. He's sort of surprised by things that he can't see out of the one side.
Oh my God.
That was
Nice.
all from Nick, and I wrote it and he delivered it. And he's a great guy to work with, and it's just kind of this really collaborative thing. I want people to like kind of express themselves, to have some fun with like I write the episodes, but I'm really collaborative in the ideas that come through. And yeah, like, I just love it so much. It's just so much fun to do. And it takes a little bit away. People, I can't tell you how many times people have told me it's a palate cleanser.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the idea, is that like I listen to a ton of true crime. I edit a bunch of true crime shows, and it can get a little gloomy, and so it's like this was kind of my counter programming. Yeah, it could get to, this was my kind of counter programming to that. And to answer Shannon's question she asked a minute ago about the where Richie Buck came from, it's interesting. It was just a name that came to me, and interestingly enough, I don't have a lot of knives or weapons or anything like that. Like
I could have guessed that.
Yeah, as country as I sound, I'm a pretty tame guy. I'm more of an artsy guy, but a year or so after I started writing the show, so my papa, my mom's dad, died. He died 5 years ago or so, and she gave me a pocket knife of his, and I put it away, and then like at some point I found it again. I think it was like in a jacket pocket or something. I found it again after I started releasing the show, and it's a buck pocket knife. And I was like, oh, that's really cool that, it felt like it had some meaning to me and my family. Just so the name just was something that sounded like cute and funny and had a little bit of a reindeer sort of theme to it, and that's where it came from.
It is catchy.
Yeah.
Catchy buck.
It is.
Yeah, and it's
really
given me a
is.
lot of funny things to include, like when Richie goes to the North Pole, he's talking to somebody, and he's like, "It's Buck with a B." There are a lot of jokes that kind of have kind of. I'm going to take this off. I'm getting a little long. Have arisen from the name, but yeah, it's a blast. It's so much fun.
And there's nothing else out there like this. I've not
Nothing.
ever heard of another podcast that has the same in-depth creativity or conviction to a specific holiday.
Thank you.
It's truly amazing.
Thank you. I did a couple of episodes that were sort of a spin-off about, because the Easter Bunny arises as a suspect, and because the thing is, like, if who would frame Richie's sort of thing is like Santa's been framed sort of at the end of the first season. Who would frame Santa? Well, the Easter Bunny would.
Mm-hmm.
And so he kind of goes down that rabbit hole. I did a sort of a mid-season I did a couple of episodes. I've got another episode I want to drop. Or maybe two more, because I was challenged to link by Shiloh, actually. I was challenged to link the Easter Bunny to DB Cooper.
Ooh.
And so I wrote those episodes with that in mind. And my good buddy, Matt Croyle, who does the Oil City Film Festival up in Pennsylvania, he's a great actor, director, writer. I asked him to be DB Cooper's voice, and he is so good. And he might come back. I've got a plan for him to come back as DB Cooper in the near future. So it's so funny to kind of tie these things, because you're tying in things that have some sort of nostalgia to people too. So it's fun.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear about like the 80s songs. or bands that you have intertwined for this
Well,
season?
I don't have the rights to any of them. I'm using all royalty free stuff that sounds similar. But in this first episode, there is definitely a song that sounds like Boston. And yeah, I just in there. I know they're a little earlier than '80s, but I do like another plan that I had was to do an '80s sort of noir show about the Muffin Man.
Oh,
Do you
And
know the Muffin Man?
yes, and the reason was because when my oldest little boy was like 3 years old. I'd been writing this show. Maybe I was recording it too and working on it. But anyhow, he was in the office with me, and he said, "Hey, Daddy." And I said, "What?" And with the most serious delivery, and he's like the best comedian in the world. Actually, he's amazing. He said, "Do you know the Muffin Man?" And I was like, "Oh, that'd be kind of a fun thing to write." So that's something that's kind of on the back burner, obviously, for now. But at that time, like everything kind of has a little bit of a feel to it. And so with Santa May Be a Criminal, it is this like, I always say, and it's not quite like this now, but I always say it's like if Santa Claus were a suspect on Dateline in the South. Like that was kind of like the overarching kind of feel I wanted to go for.
mm-hmm.
And then um, with I have a spin-off plan for the elves, and that would be a mafia themed story set in the North Pole. And I said it, as these things, I've kind of set these things up in the main show so that I can do spin-offs on them. But so in the North Pole episodes in season 1, Richie goes to the Notebook Cabana, and I rewrote the scene from, I don't know if you've seen Goodfellas. Have y'all seen Goodfellas?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So okay. Well, Melissa, I'm going to send you a link to watch. I know, it breaks my heart. I'm going to send you a link to watch this scene. There's this amazing scene with Ray Liotta, God rest his soul, where they go through the Copacabana, like they go down in this thing and they go through the kitchen and and there's a table set for them. And I rewrote that scene with a holiday sort of theme to it. And Richie meets sort of a Godfather type. His nickname is the Toddfather. His name is Todd O'Tannenbaum. He's they call him the Toddfather, yeah. And my best buddy in the world, Chris Helton, who we've made a couple of movies together. He plays that character, and he's amazing. And so I can't wait to expand on that storyline. And then I also have something with the Tooth Fairy planned, which Heather from Big Mad True Crime is going to voice the Tooth Fairy for me. But I've set that up also, and there's a theme throughout all the episodes that the elves and fairies do not get along; they hate each other. And the Tooth Fairy spinoff will be more akin to like a drug, like a Narcos type
Nice
thing. So
Love
I'm kind of
it.
trying to take these feelings into these like different things, and it gives me a chance to actually do something a little different.
So I'm interested to see if all of the elves on the shelves that we all have in our house currently are infiltrating our houses as part of the mafia.
That's a really good idea. I'm
It
interested.
really is.
Yeah.
Whitney. I love.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, it that's the thing about it, because it's so because Christmas is so big, and because I mean now it's like a 3-month long holiday.
It really is.
After Halloween, it becomes.
I mean, like at Hobby Lobby, doesn't it start in July?
Seriously,
right?
Yeah.
And on that, and to kind of piggyback on that, at the end of every episode, I have a different history of how Santa May was conceived, and one of them is Santa May was conceived in the Christmas section of a Hobby Lobby, and I think it's in Valdosta, Georgia. I try to, like, if I go somewhere One time it was a Buc-ee's in Tuscaloosa, in the clean bathroom in a Buc-ee's in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I had just gone to an Alabama game. I'm an Alabama fan.
Mhm.
Just gone to an Alabama game. Like when you hear those things, like you can kind of like say, Jason, there was some link for Jason probably that week or sometime in the weeks leading up to it.
Okay.
Oh, so now we can follow Jason's journey
Yeah,
by
Yes.
places that this has been conceived.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like I did so we did Shiloh and I did the live episode at True Crime Podcast Festival, and I didn't record it right. So we redid it. We just took the same script and just kind of revoiced it basically, and I added a few little sound effects and things. And that one was conceived in like a bar in a tub of Lone Star beer or something like that. So it related to the
Love.
show. So yeah, so you can kind of, those are like, there are little things like that, and there are a lot of little Easter eggs that you can kind of, not to go off the holiday, but a lot of little Easter eggs that you can find throughout the episodes, and if you can connect them back. And I've laid some of the groundwork of where Santa Claus is eventually found. And there's Shiloh. I see Shiloh's yay, Shiloh's here. That or Detective Strong, I guess. That you can kind of like track back. So yes, here's the other thing. So this was another twist. So the sheriff in our town in the show is Sheriff Bradley Dewberry, played by Kevin Grogan, who's a former cop and homicide detective who's a good friend of mine here in Savannah. And Shiloh plays one of his detectives, Detective Strong.
Oh.
And she is challenging him for the office of sheriff. And she is very like, this will come out in the next episode of what she thinks and how it plays out. But
you've got our vote, Dr. Shiloh, or Detective Strong.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll find out not this coming episode whether she wins or not, but the next episode. So it's a lot of fun. It's great. But the other thing too is oh yes, she's on me. So Shiloh keeps me honest. She's like, I took a picture of her and Kevin when we were all here at the Savannah Crime Expo, and she texted me over the weekend. She's like, when is that photo going to drop? I was like, I know, I got to do it. I've got it. I just got to like put it in my little frame and I'll get it up. So Shiloh, I will do that. I promise I will do that. Like tomorrow, like tonight or tomorrow. You can.
He's on a deadline. You heard that.
That's right. Not I'm on the naughty list. So.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
It's fun. So I enjoy being able to just have a little bit of fun and creativity and give people a little break from the sad topics and the things that we don't really want to confront. And it gives me a little bit of a release valve to do it. And I love like going through and listening to all the Christmas music that I can include in the episodes. And I had a very different sort of plan in the beginning that I was going to do like a different sort of like a lo-fi hip hop sort of Christmas song at the end of each episode. And then I found this song, Big Bad Santa, on Epidemic Sound, and I just love it so much. And so that's how we end all of our episodes. And then last season I did a sort of a sound design of a different kind of opening, and then a week and a half ago I found this song, like this drunk Santa song by a guy named, I think it's Mikey Geiger, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's kind of like how the season starts. So I've replaced the opening song with that, and I think it really works. But Shannon, I'll send you a preview of it. It's just so much. There's so many different things that are involved with it, and the music, and then some of the voice actors, like I send them scripts and they give me like a few reads. Some of them I get on Zooms with and we talk through things and I direct them. And some of them, like I just did this week, I recorded with Brandon from Music City 911.
I love Brandon.
He's great, and his show is phenomenal, and
Mhm.
one of my favorites I've found this year.
Hmm.
And I'd asked him if he has I try to pair people with some of like their background, and I said I've got this 911 thing I want you to do. Would you be willing to do it? And he's like, yeah. And then I reached out to a guy here I know. His name is Chris Susi, who's an improv guy and a phenomenal great screenwriter and podcaster. And I said, would you do this other part of it? And we couldn't connect on like the same time Zoom, so I had Chris improv, with very little direction from me, and then I played it for Brandon, and Brandon reacted to it, and
Nice.
it's come out really, really good. So you just
So,
find ways to make it work,
so much planning and prepping on your part. And then if you just listen to one episode, you can tell how much time you put into editing and adding in those sound effects. Like Shannon was saying in the chat, they're subtle, but it
Mhm.
makes it just the quality of the audio is on par. All I
Oh,
have to say.
thank you. Y'all are sweet.
And it's so descriptive. You can watch it as a movie in your mind. I mean, there's
Definitely.
nothing you're missing. There's not you're not left wanting anything except another episode. It's truly amazing. It really is.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot to me because that's what it's for. Like it is just it's a passion project, and to hear you all just say how much you enjoy it and like it, and it's very meaningful to me. But and like one of my listener or a couple of my listeners have said, and they've heard the subtle sleigh bells underneath in the background, and it's just an atmosphere. But it becomes important, particularly in the next episode that drops, because you realize now like what it was about. And it is. I do try to take a lot of everything's very intentional. Sort of my word for the show is
Mhm.
I'm very intentional with like where sound effects go, what they are. It's no coincidence that there's an owl that hoots almost every time Richie comes home. Um, I it's not a coincidence that Bob Mata's character, who is Santa's defense attorney, is named Derek Rudolph. There's a lot of things in there that are very intentional. Some of them are just for laugh, but most things there's been a lot of thought that has gone into the way it is and how it's layered and those sorts of things.
Amazing. Amazing.
So let's talk about what's happening this weekend.
Yes, that'd be great. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So we are going to be back together for a change. I feel like it's been a while since we've all got together.
It
hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been forever.
When was it? When was that? Was it August?
August.
August. Okay.
Where were we in
Yeah.
August?
Dallas at the
True Crime Podcast Festival. That
Yes.
is right.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. So this weekend we will all be in Atlanta, Georgia. Not all of us, the three of us at least, plus
Couple.
15 other people, 12 other people live on Saturday. So what are you doing? Are you on a panel? You're doing the 12 Days of Christmas?
Yeah, it's not going to be 12. It's going to be 3 cases. I'm going to be moderating it, so I'm going to be the safety valve, sort of for the I'm going to introduce everybody. I mean, everybody's going to be introduced, I think, at the beginning, but then I'll just kind of reintroduce everybody, and so it's like it's Murder She Told, it's Corpus Delicti, and our True Crime podcasts are with me, and I'm just gonna kind of moderate. They're fine. They sent me their outlines, and I read everything, and they're like, I'm not like, I just am like, man, I'm glad to be up there with y'all because y'all are stars. It's great.
So nice.
No, it's
I'm so excited to listen to them do something. For the majority of them, we haven't done a live event with
Not with them, no.
Yeah, so
This
I am very excited.
this is my first ever. Well, I mean, I guess not. I guess Shiloh and I my first ever live one, but it wasn't recorded, so there's no proof of it. But you can't say I did it. But yeah, this is kind of my first I
Okay.
guess. Well, I guess I did with Live Left Larceny too at that event.
Oh,
We
yes.
did a panel. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
They're awesome.
They're amazing.
Hilarious.
So I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give y'all a little preview. So
Okay.
I've already asked them. They're gonna do this. So, and this is sort of laugh. I hope I don't get sued because of this, but
It's always the goal of
right.
Please don't get sued.
Yeah, or
So,
canceled.
I do like all these different, like I did this What the Elf thing. I do all these little kind of novelty designs for T-shirts that that never sell, which is fine. That's not why I do them. I do them because they're funny to me, and like I might make it and buy one, and I'll wear it around the house, or I'll wear it out, and people ask me about it, and I can tell them about the podcast and that sort of thing. So I did this shirt that said, "Got cookies and milk." And Big Milk came after me.
Oh gosh.
They shut me down.
Oh
And
no.
told me I had to remove the design, and they sent it to my to my the podcast email, which is not correctly connected to my personal email, which is what I check all the time. And so I didn't know about this until after it had been yanked off of TeePublic or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then I got really mad about it because I was like, I mean, how dare you? I mean, who do you think you are?
Yes.
So at some point I am going to release. I just have to do it. It's supposed to be on my Patreon right now. I'm sorry, Shannon and Shiloh. But I'm going to do I've written a lot of it. I'm going to do sort of a talk about the problems with Big Milk and how dare they try to put the war on Christmas, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And also this season, Santa may actually admit that he never liked milk to begin with.
Oh my god!
Just to stick it in their eye.
Nice.
So anyhow,
so what beverage are we promoting for Santa this year?
Yes, because we'll start doing that.
I mean, I throw out Cabernet as an option.
Oh, that's a good idea. Well, we liked Hunch Punch the last time. Shelly says no one ever drinks regular milk anymore. That's fine.
I agree.
She's right.
Milk
I've actually never liked milk.
I am not a milk drinker, and it freaks me out that people like milk.
I love cheese. I've never liked.
God, same.
Yeah, but I never loved milk.
I don't know how that works, but it's fine.
Right. It's because you get all the bad stuff of milk out of it. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, Lynn. We should think about that.
It'd be a great poll.
That is a good poll.
Or
You're exactly
interactive.
Right.
What are we petitioning for?
That's a great idea. See, I need y'all to help me figure these things out because Shiloh and Shannon are really good at this stuff. I'm not good at that stuff. I'm good at the writing and the producing part of it, but I gotta figure out the social media part of it. I can design the graphics, but the how to get people really engaged with things, I'm not really good at.
Interactive.
We're not that great at it either.
Yeah.
I have skirts that are brilliant and then nothing for a month.
Really?
So
yeah.
Well, at least Big Milk.
Seltzer water. We'd be into this. As
well. My God!
Ooh,
yes.
Wow.
I had one in Colorado during a live show, just to out on that very last show, which we said we would never do 4 shows in a row again, and then we did in Texas. But I'm glad it's just one show this weekend.
When y'all do that, do you do the same story each time, or you do a different one?
We do same cases.
Yeah. We originally were going to do different cases, but it's just too much to remember, to try to practice, to have your stuff together when it's back to back to back like that.
Do you read, or do you memorize and kind of just tell the story?
We just talk about it mainly. We have bullet points,
outlines.
Yeah, everyone has a section. We've usually had 4 or 5 people in our lives. Yeah, and everyone takes a different section, and then Sometimes we chat about it, but yeah,
That's so cool.
Sometimes we have this defense attorney that we all know and love dearly that just runs with it, and then we don't have to talk about anything.
I love him so much.
I can play Candy
We do
Crush.
too.
No, that dude was talking during a live event, like he does, spot on.
Yep.
Also watching a football game while we're up on stage. I'm like, how is this happening, Bob? I can barely concentrate on what I'm supposed to say.
So-
You are going off and watching a football game.
He's
So
on another level.
I did not know Bob when I asked him. I just listened to Defense Diaries, binged a bunch of episodes, and that's when I reached out to him and I was like, hey, somehow we'd friended each other on social media, and I was like, hey, would you be willing to be Santa's defense attorney? And he's like, he has been one of my biggest. Yes, Bob is a legend.
He is the best. He is the best.
I love him so much, and I never this weekend. We talked when he recorded his first lines for this first episode, because he keeps saying when is Santa going to get a trial? This is ridiculous. He deserves a speedy trial. And I'm like, I know. And that's why I had to get Santa out of jail, because I needed some more time to figure that stuff out. He's a saint, and we always say we're going to hang out more. And so this weekend y'all might have to give us a little bit of space so we can bromance a little bit, because I love the guy. He's the real deal, super smart.
Well, if you really want to know Bob, the best thing to do is to take him to an escape room. That's his jam.
He loves them.
Oh my gosh.
He has done over 100 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not exaggerating.
I'm not exaggerating.
I'm gonna text him.
When we went to New Orleans to do a meetup, and what all did we do in New Orleans? Just a meetup? Sure. I don't even remember. It was a blur of a weekend.
Just a meetup.
Shenanigans. We did a meetup there and a Mobile with
Okay.
Josh, Bob, Darren,
Charlie.
Charlie was there at some point. We met her at Mobile. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
But we had a couple hours throughout the day. Melissa and I made plans. We met them for a brunch, and then we were going to go back to the hotel, charge our phones, do this whole thing, chill before our evening for dinner and going out. Well, Bob's like, no, we're not doing that. Let's go find an escape room. So we go find an escape room.
And at first we thought he was joking. We're sitting at a very nice brunch. He's like, you guys want to go to escape room? And we're like, sure. And he's like, oh, I just love these. And then when we get there, they're like,
incredible.
The lady's like, oh, have you ever done an escape room? Bob's like, oh, I've done 100. I'm like, I've done maybe 5 or 6.
And I'm like, never done one. Cool. Good to be here.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It was so much fun. Yeah,
he wants to do one in Atlanta when we go. We talked on Sunday. He's like, let's try to find one. And I'm like,
when are you going to make it to town Saturday morning, or be in town before Saturday morning? Because he's wanting to do it sometime during the day on Saturday.
I won't be able to make that. I'm driving up Saturday morning, and I'm trying to do lunch with one of my mentors, and then we'll come. That's the plan. I don't know. I've got to text him and see are you still good for Saturday? But if not, I'm up. I mean, if y'all see me on Twitter at 3:00 in the morning, it's not uncommon. I'm usually awake really early, and then I could get on the road, very soon after that. We'll leave it. Do I have y'all's phone numbers? I have Bob's.
I'll message you mine.
Okay. So yeah, and I'll reply to mine. So
just say it now.
Yeah. 867-5309.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, that'd be fun.
Yeah. So he's going to be on the panel with us. We're excited about that. We're all kind of used to working together. It's us two, Eric, Lainey, and Bob.
Oh,
so
awesome.
which
We're gonna have
all
some
of us
fun.
did the Texas tour together a couple
Nice.
months ago. So
Y'all are
we've got
doing
a good
segment
flow.
1 then? Are y'all segment 1 then?
Yes.
Okay. Charlie sent me a message yesterday and said that she might need me to help with trivia on segment 3 too. So
Oh, nice.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited. I'm going to be so I get so nervous in front of crowds, but
Don't.
like I work myself in, like I can work myself into it. The good news is like my face turns really red, and I can play it off on the Santa theme, the Christmas theme. It's like,
Yeah.
There you go.
red because
Are
I'm
we
all about
going-
Christmas.
Are you bringing full regalia?
Oh yeah. I've got.
yeah.
I can't wear the fedora with these, and
Sure.
I prefer these and the earbuds when I'm on these. But I'm definitely going to wear the Santa suit. I also have I have an evening Santa suit, but it's like got black here instead of white. The white I like because it pops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. I'll have my podcast shirt on and things like that.
Maybe just like a tuxedo T-shirt under the Santa jacket.
Well, I think I'm gonna wear my I don't have it right. I don't think I have one right here.
Thank God.
I've got all my stuff in the car.
Shiloh, Detective Strong, not a fan of the fedora, apparently. And if I'm going to take
No,
fashion advice
Shiloh,
from
uh-uh.
anyone, it's going to be Shiloh.
No, Shiloh, that's
Just
what.
her-
No, I'm
Her
bringing the
fashion game's on
fedora.
point.
I'm bringing the fedora and I'm wearing it because I cannot tell you how many when I've gone through airports in this thing, which has been twice. I cannot tell you how many people have come over, wanted to take pictures with me. I've given my podcast, my card. Who've just said nice, like man, like I really like that, like because it's so different.
So is that what we have to do to get a word out there a little bit more, Whitney?
Maybe I'll just put one of our stickers like this on my Santa hat, and then maybe
There you
people
go.
will come
Bam.
talk to us.
It's what I call commit to the bit. And my wife, by the way, is on Shiloh's side. She's like, I told her, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be in the fedora, and she just gave me this look like, why would you do that? Well, the reason I do it is because it's so different and ridiculous that like people have to take attention. They have to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And then like that gives you an opportunity to actually talk to them about like what you want to talk to them about. It's totally like, a gimmick, and I get it. Like otherwise I wear this all the time. Santa. I wear this all the time. I'm more of a baseball cap guy. But I want to figure out a way to create a fedora, since I can't wear it when I'm on these things, with like the headphones built into them. That'd be pretty cool, I think. What do you think?
It would be.
I could give one to
Shiloh
her.
might not agree,
Yeah.
but
It needs like tinsel or something, though. It needs it like a pop.
Yes, absolutely.
You're
I'm
making it
also
worse.
actually I'm going to try to actually put bells on my shoes, so
Oh,
when I walk
wow.
out, they jingle.
You better hope
So
that
anytime I'm moving around, people will hear me.
going through the metal detector. Better have to take.
But I'm driving.
I mean,
I'm
Oh, you're
driving.
driving. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But
They're like,
yeah,
sir.
well, you can. You just got to take them off.
your
that's
bells
true.
off.
I guess that's true.
Take your bells off.
Yeah, I started that
Excuse me,
kind of
sir?
with the Savannah Crime Expo. I put bells in my pockets, but I ended up having to like put my hands in my pockets and kind of
And
like move them around
Jingle them.
awkwardly. And I was
as
like,
you
I don't want that's too much. I don't want to get in trouble.
You don't want to do jingle hands, like jingle hands.
Put it in your pockets.
That's the only place. And they're like little tiny ones, right? So I was like, because I think they're meant to like go on your shoes, or I don't know.
Yeah.
That close or-
Remember, like in my elementary school in California, we had those. It was like would wrap around your hand, and they would be like bells.
Oh yeah,
And tambourines.
Yes.
I do remember those. I was terrible at
Good
it.
night, Shiloh. It's good to see you too.
night.
Oh, bye. Miss you.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah. I can't wait to see how you come dressed. It's always.
I've never seen someone commit to a brand as
I've
much as you.
never.
It's commit to the bit, and I got a candy cane.
Yeah, are you bringing it? You've got to bring it.
Do that.
You're moderating. You have to
It's-
stand on the stage with your cane.
Hang on a second. I'm going to show you. It's kind of lame though. It's not what I thought it'd be.
No,
I don't think it's
no,
lame.
it's very like Steve Harvey-esque. I feel like he would have a cane. Nope, love it.
How is
You have
it
to.
lame?
It's like plastic, and it's not like
Oh, it's not a real one.
no, it's not. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously it's not a real cane, but it's just kind of like weak. I might have to just I don't know,
Well, don't like
glue
lean
it,
on it.
glue it or something. Yeah, but I could.
Yeah,
I
put
could
some
totally
clear tape on it.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do that because I'm like, it keeps moving around or whatever. But
You
okay, so
could.
y'all like when Bob gets mad because Bob was like, "You're not gonna." I didn't tell him that I had this, but he's like, "What are you bringing?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm gonna bring something cool." So y'all have to help me manage him.
No,
but-
see, you can use that manage our time with him.
Oh, that's
Just hold
cool.
the cane
He's
up
like, "Oh,
and
I
let
could
him
like
know
pull
that it's
off.
yes.
Like I could
Yes.
do the hook. That'd be amazing."
You could. Yeah, I like it.
You could
I'm
always
into it.
buy a real cane, a wooden one, and then paint it.
That's a good idea too. That's a good idea. I was
It's
looking for
very-
something cheap and quick. And I got when this thing came in, Drew was like, my wife was like, "What in the world is that?" And I was like, "It's my candy
I
cane
can only
cane."
imagine.
She's
she's
like,
like,
Jason,
"Do
I'm turning
not."
off your Amazon privileges. You're
I
You're
did.
done.
Yeah, exactly. I did tell her because after True Crime Podcast Festival, I was dressed in the full regalia. I was hanging out with Lance from Crawl Space, and we bar hopped a little bit. And I had again so many people like came to me, wanted to talk to me, and all that stuff. And I was like, I think I just need to go down and do this like once a month to just dress up like this, go down there, hand out cards, and I just talk to everybody and just say, hey, listen. Some people don't know what podcasts are. Some people are like totally jazzed about it. And I know they never listen. Some people will listen. If I can convert,
I really
2 out of
feel
every
that your
10.
your subject matter is a little bit less touchy when people are like, what do you do for a living? And you say, oh, I make a Christmas podcast. A Christmas themed podcast is way different than being like, I'm a true crime podcaster. And everyone's like,
Right.
what does that mean?
Yeah.
We don't like to say that.
The trick is when Christmas is gone, like me continuing to build. And so that's kind of like some of my communication is that it's not just about Christmas. I mean, it's about Santa Claus. But I said this in one episode last season because people are like, are you going to finish this by Christmas? And I was like, God, no, they didn't finish. I don't think until March or something. And I was like, so in the following episode, after I got some of those comments, I wrote into it that, the wheels of justice turn slowly. And, just like that, this show's not going to be wrapped up in a nice little bow or whatever I said. And that's kind of a thing too. It's like, making this, and that's one of the reasons I want to do some of the spinoffs, like with the elves. Like you think about like the elves they live outside of Christmas. Like they live a normal or they live some sort of life outside of that box. And kind of creating sort of the mythology around like what the elves' lives are like. Like for instance, with Shiloh, she's gone now, but I told her last year, I said, I'm giving you a gift. And she's like, what? And I said, so Sydney, her daughter, plays Ellie the elf, who is sort of Richie's guide through the North Pole. And I said, Ellie the elf's voice is not going to be, I'm not going to elfify it. I'm not going to make it sound like an elf. It's just going to be pure. It's going to be her voice at 9 years old. And that's my gift to you forever. And I justified it in the story that your voice only changes when you go to work at the workshop. And she had not had to work at the workshop. Now this season, because it's a little darker, things are tougher at the North Pole. When I bring her back, I'm elfifying her voice because she's now had to go work in the workshop. But like it's one of those things like I want things to be special for the people that join the show and do things and help the way, especially the way Shiloh's been probably the biggest champion of the show. I wanted to give her like that little thing. It's just like, this is Sydney at 9 years old forever. And then next season, and I told her, I'm like, I don't think I told her then, but when I figured it out later, I was like, when we come back, she's got to have the elf voice. And I think she'll like that too. But
but it is.
She has a great podcast too. Sydney has Career Quest and Beyond the Gravestone. So those are two great shows.
Nice.
She's a budding young podcaster.
That's awesome.
Aww.
So cute.
There needs to be like an IMDb for podcasters.
So you can do it on IMDb now. I just learned this.
You can?
You can. And I started to do it, but it's so much work.
Is it?
It's a lot of work. I mean,
I'm sure it is for you because you have many people on your podcast. But for me, every episode is us.
That's true.
Whitney, Melissa.
Yeah, if you have, I don't know if you have to have IMDb Pro or not. You might not have to. You can. You guys should do that. You should put your names in and then put your titles of your episodes and do all of them. Because you're right. Like for me, I got to find who the person is and I got to link them if they're on IMDb already, and there's a whole rigmarole. But
oh wow,
that's a good thing. And I only found out about that from Shiloh and Scott. They told me about that.
They're on the up and up with everything.
They know
everything.
They know.
They know everything.
I'm excited to see them. We will see them in June. I think that's the next time we'll get to see them because we're going to London to CrimeCon UK.
We are. We really haven't told anyone.
We haven't told anyone.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, exclusive. Surprise,
NoPo news alert.
Yes, I barely just told my family that we were going.
I wish I could go. Have y'all been to London? It's in London?
Yeah, it's in London.
I've never left this continent.
I have never been to Europe, so
London is the place I want to be. It's my favorite city in the world. I live in Savannah. I love Savannah. I studied abroad in London for 6 weeks.
Oh wow!
And I fell in love with it so much. It's amazing. Also, you have to say hi to Cherry from Crimepedia.
Yep.
She plays Dr. Myra Abernathy, who is Richie's love interest this season. And that actually came about because at CrimeCon she's like, Richie needs a girlfriend, and I was like, yeah, maybe.
Here comes Bob sliding in at the last minute. We've already been talking about Bob. He missed out on all the
Bob missed all of the love bombing we were giving him.
Yes.
But yeah, talk to Cherry, tell her I miss her, give her a hug for me. She's amazing. She's been a huge we message back and forth a bunch of times a week. She loves the show. She's such a huge supporter. I'm gonna be on, I think I'm still gonna be on. They asked me to Crimepedia with her and Morgan to talk about the show, and Morgan plays Krampus this season.
Nice.
So he's amazing in that role. I'm so excited about that.
We met them for the first time at CrimeCon as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're great.
But I've listened to Crimepedia for a long time.
They're great. They're great, and no, it's just like everybody that's in the show. I love everybody that's on the show. They're so wonderful and sweet, and have all just supported everything. And Bob, since he missed it, I was saying he was one of the great early people that supported the show, and we're gonna bromance a little bit in Atlanta. So.
Oh God, Bob! Don't even start.
Don't get her started. Pam is my mom. You met my mom.
Yes.
Dallas.
She's the best.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. She likes some of my social media posts. Hi, Pam.
My mom will be your biggest supporter forever. If I like you, my mom's going to support you forever.
Oh.
She's the best.
Oh,
she really is.
Pam, you're on the nice list. Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you at.
Oh my God! Told you.
Told you.
I won't get in town in time, Bob. But
yes. Oh, lovely. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Jason, as always, for coming on and telling
Oh my
us about
gosh,
all
yes.
things Christmas. We're excited to see you Saturday since you're not coming down till Saturday. And tell everybody where they can find you.
So you can find Santa May Be a Criminal at Santa May Be on Twitter and Instagram. I think it's Santa May Be Podcast on Facebook. You can listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts. SantaMaybe.com is the website. You can submit people for the nice or naughty lists on the form on the page. And I want to say to both of you, I appreciate you both so much. Thank you for having me on. And I am so excited to see you. I just cherish our friendship, and you're both on the nice list forever.
I really think that, that last minute decision for us to go to Savannah, I mean, we were there for 36 hours that weekend.
Yeah.
It was really one of the best decisions we've made in the podcast because we just got to spend so much time and meet so many amazing people and just network in a way you never thought you could network before. And it was just wonderful.
It's like networking friendships, though.
Right.
I don't even want to call it networking because we're all really good friends now.
Yeah.
Just making friends.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's very special. Everybody in this group is special.
They are the best people.
Yeah.
I swear. This community is amazing.
Absolutely.
So basically, if you struggle with making friends as a grown-up, start a podcast, do some networking, and you'll get some friends. It's that simple.
There's a lot of work involved. However,
yes,
you get
there's lots of hours. Yeah.
But
thanks, Jason. Good night, and we will see you on Saturday.
See you in less than 48 hours. Excited.
Yes.
All right. Miss you till then.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.